What's up, guys? Today we are going to be talking about Marvel Rivals. Now, this game is an immediate cop, okay? It's an immediate day one. I think we're 6 days away from the game releasing. And I know I nearly ruined my life playing the beta because I was playing it from sunrise to sunset. It was just addicting, and it was really fun, and it was really cool to play with, friends, and it's just an awesome game. So if you haven't checked it out, I suggest you check it out. Nevertheless, they've released 2 trailers today. Well, I guess technically not today. One was released yesterday, one was released today, and they're both Squirrel Girl and Iron Fist. Now, I saw Wolverine. I'm not really too sold on his aesthetics, if we'll say. I'm not a big fan of the jacket. Everything else looks fine. I will waiting to see gameplay of him. But in the meantime, between time, we got Iron Fist and Squirrel Girl. When it comes to Iron Fist and Squirrel Girl, I'm more likely to play as, and I think her in-game animations are better than when it comes to Iron Fist. I think in the trailer, Iron Fist has better poses and animation, but in the game, I think he loses to Squirrel Girl. That's my opinion. So when we get into it, when it comes to Iron Fist in the trailer, I think his poses are really great. I think he has a strong pose. He goes from one pose to another strong pose to another strong pose, and then he ends with this final pose. One thing that irritated me a little bit, and you see this from time to time, is that the visual effects. I get it. It's a great job. People coming up with the visual effects for games and stuff like that. But sometimes they just overdo it, and it muddies the animation. Because you spend all this time doing this pose, and then the visual effects completely covers up like the whole screen. It's like, where's my animation? You can barely see my animation. I think it suffers from that when it comes to Iron Fist, because he does like this spinning kick, and the visual effects are like covering up everything. And I don't think they're really doing a good job of showing where the kick came from, showing that in fact it was a spinning kick, because it looks like more like he was just doing a straight kick. And I wish they had just, lowered the visual effects, right? Had it swoop just a little bit so we can see that nice silhouette of the leg and see where it was coming from. Because the animator, he does, he breaks the rig and he breaks the leg to show that whipping action of the kick. And I don't feel like the visual effects, the graphics really do its service. But when it comes to this animation, I think it's awesome. I think one of the great things of the posing of all the characters that I've seen is that it's a 3/4 turn. Now, obviously, that's going to be better for the player to read certain attacks, but it also makes it easier for the animator to create poses. As opposed to the character being, front and center like this, it adds some dynamicism to it by, just having the character just 3/4 quarter view. And you see that when it comes to Iron Fist, and definitely when it comes to Squirrel Girl, which we're gonna cover momentarily. When it comes to Iron Fist, I think something that is grossly overlooked, especially when it comes to gameplay animation and those who are trying to get into animation, is timing. But speaking of what's done really well, what you can learn to do really well is to get a job in the animation industry, right? And that is by getting my new book, 4 Proven Ways to Get into the Animation Industry. These are 4 proven ways. I think a lot of people, say, oh, there's 6 ways, 10 ways. For me, there was 4 proven ways that I did to get every single job in the animation industry that I got. And they may be a little out of the box, but they worked for me. And if you implement them, I would honestly believe that they would work 100% for you. So you can get it now. There's a promo code going on due to Black Friday and I guess Cyber Monday as well. You do type in, what is it? I think it's cheat. Type in cheat in the checkout, and you'll get 30% off. So you have to understand, as a gameplay animator, they are gonna be looking at and playing this button combo again and again and again and again and again, right? So one thing that is really well done, especially when a flurry of punches that Iron Fist is doing, is that instead of doing the same punch over and over again, they're breaking up the punches. So it's twofold. One is timing and one is visual variety. What is done and displayed here is that we get a visual variety. So it's now, it's a jab with a hook with an overhead, and you see this flurry of punches that he's doing to attack, and it's something that it's like, okay, I can look at that again and again and again. Then he goes into his super move. The great thing about super move is that even though there may not be a lot of variety, because it's a flurry, it's like the timing. I remember the timing was like or something like that. It was like something like that. So the timing breaks up, the visual clutter of the scene.
Dragon kick.
And it's really nice stuff like that. It's just the cherry on top of this amazing Sunday. And then it ends with his punch. Once again, I think the visual effects they're just too much. I think it feels a bit claustrophobic. Now, maybe that's just how the editor chose to shoot it, and instead of zooming out, but it just feels too claustrophobic, ending on that last frame, because you have, his fist. The anime has a great pose, but you can't really see it because you got this big old giant, dragon visual effects covering up, and it just seems crammed, and it doesn't feel as powerful as it needs to be. And the first thing that it reminds me of is Dragon Fist, from Dragon Ball Z with Goku. He goes, and I'm just like, if they could just channel that would be awesome. Moving on to Squirrel Girl, though, I think Squirrel Girl's, trailer was a little lackluster due to the poses just being muddy. There's never once in the trailer that I saw that I was like, okay, that's a good pose. And I get it, because if you remove the giant tail that she has, it's a great silhouette. But because we have this giant tail, the poses they just feel muddy. They're not as clean and as crisp as Iron Fist, and I think they could have been. Maybe they could have squashed the tail or tilted it just to give a better silhouette to some of her poses and stuff like that. I know she got the little squirrel on her, but it just doesn't read well. However, in game, it reads amazing, because once again, that 3/4 pose, now we get the full silhouette of the tail, which is not being, intersecting with the body. So we get this nice silhouette, and her, shooting the squirrels, shooting the nuts, excuse me. But even still, it gets a little muddied when she's like shooting the nuts, because her forearm is intersecting with the squirrel tail, right? So now it becomes a little muddied of a silhouette and harder to read. Now that contrasts greatly with some of her, I think her super attacks or something like that. The one where she's throwing the giant nut, really great stuff there. Now, there's not a lot of anticipation there. The animator tried to do some anticipation, it doesn't read. Because we have this giant tail, it doesn't read. But what the animator did was make the follow-through pose and the overlap just absolutely beautiful, because he exaggerates it like to the craziest degree. Because you have this antic, right? And then she throws it and she fully twists her body, bruh. It's like wham! And like the left arm is right here, the right arm is down, just really twisty, just amazing pose, and it reads. Even though this may not read very well, the follow-through reads. And I think that's a little trick right there that can be implemented in a lot of animations, especially in combat animations, if you want a really fast punch. That you don't have to necessarily have crazy anticipation, but you can strengthen that animation on the back end. It's kind of like in sales, right? With somebody, there won't be any haggle on the front end. Oh yeah, this is the car, this is what we'll do. But on the back end, that's where they get you. Well, it comes with the luxury. This will be in addition to that. You can get, leather seats. You can get this. You can get heated seats. You get that, and it ends up, costing you more on the back end than on the front end. And I think you could take that concept and use it in animation, where even though you may not be able to have a lot of anticipation, sell the impact of the punch on the back end. So sell it in the overlap and the drag of the body, and then returning back to idle. If you don't have that, that time to go, bam, sell it on the back end, because it not only does it become more responsive to the player, but it serves the same purpose of feeling that impact without sacrificing responsiveness of the player hitting, the button, and you're getting this big anticipation and then the follow through, because then it doesn't feel good, even though it looks good. Having said that, one thing I really like about her poses is this concave convex, which is, you're learned in animation, right? When it comes to the example of the wavy flag, I think every animator has had to animate a flag, just learning the wave principle. Because she does this flawlessly in her special attack, and it's like a big freaking, a convex, I don't know which, I can't remember which one is which. I don't remember, but we'll say opposite C, because I can't remember which one's concave and convex. But she does a big opposite C, right? And then she does a full C to show, to show the impact of her throwing or her saying attack. And I think when it comes to the opposite C, pose, I think it could have been strengthened because it does get muddied up just a little bit because of the giant tail. So instead of keeping it right here, because I think it's like this and then, that, I think what could have been done is that her hand goes up, right? Just up so it breaks contact with the tail and we get a clear silhouette. And then the animator can break the joint and bam, get the pose there and get, right? I think that would have been a stronger movement. That's just me, that's a little nitpick, but overall I think I'm really excited about Marvel Rivals. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited and I cannot wait to play. I'll probably stop playing Call of Duty and get on some Marvel Rivals. That's just me, I'm just letting you know. Nevertheless, that's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, guys, keep animating.